How's it going?
It's going good.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Peak Pros Podcast, episode number 13. Brian Tenenhaus here, owner and director and physical therapist here at Peak Performance Therapy and Wellness. And we are lucky to have a new guest today. This is Peak's newest addition. Kira Hood is a strength and conditioning specialist, and we're excited to learn a little bit about what she can bring to the table and what offerings she can give to Madison and the surrounding community.
Yeah, no, super excited to be here.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing, what I want to know, and more importantly, everyone else out there is going to want to know, is we just want to learn about you. So tell us a little bit about your journey in landing here as a personal trainer here at Peak, and kind of what got you here.
Yeah, so I started, being interested in fitness and weight training, strength and conditioning back in high school as a cheerleader. Okay. I went in with noodle arms, 8th grader, and couldn't do anything. And I had a growth spurt where I went from being, I think, 5 foot maybe to 5'5", and I've stayed that height since then. But I had a crazy growth spurt my freshman year. And I went from being somebody that gets put in the air and doesn't, you do work really hard when you're up there, but at that level, you don't really have to work too hard. Okay. And then suddenly I was being put as the person underneath. So that's quite a bit of strength that needed to be gained pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
I had never done any training other than gymnastics and, basic, planks, wall sits, things like that. Nothing too hard. And then I had to gain a lot of strength pretty quickly. So I hired, at least my parents hired, a strength coach at our local gym, and I started doing tons of different work to try and build up upper body strength, lower body strength. So, I've had a lot of empathy for what it's like to go from feeling like you've got nothing to feeling like you need to get somewhere. So I know what it's like to kind of chase a goal like that.
Nice.
And I definitely fell in love with fitness, strength training, that kind of stuff during that time. Just held on to it. So I studied that at Eastern Connecticut State University. I have it's like a bi degree, so it's partially sports management, partially exercise science.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. And I ended up going more into sports management after graduating. But through, COVID, I just really felt like I wanted to get more into the exercise science world. I've been training people on the side, but my, full-time jobs have all been within sports management. So decided to make it my full-time job. So now, I'm here doing personal training, teaching spin classes, do ZUMBA classes, kind of do it all, but, personal training, getting people from, wherever they're at now to wherever they want to be is definitely what I'm passionate about.
Very cool. And so in terms of your career as a cheerleader, did you carry that into college? Or
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I did.
That's fun.
Oh, it's wild.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, were you, first of all, what kind of a training regimen were you guys on in terms of strengthening? Because, there's a lot of, I think people take for granted how strong you guys have to be to do what you're doing. So, and I know there's also a lot of kind of choreography, and there's a lot of levels to it all.
Yeah. And the collegiate level's kind of interesting because some states in America will have it be labeled as a sport.
Oh, wow.
And some states it has to just be something recreational, so it's like a club.
Yeah.
Connecticut, cheerleading is not a sport.
Okay.
So what that means for the athletes is that you don't receive as much funding. You don't get as much, favor in terms of booking out spaces within your program. So, if the lacrosse team, who's a legitimate sport, wants to use the weight training room, they're going to take priority over you. So it can be difficult to get the spaces and the place that you need and the, equipment, trainers, all of that. But luckily enough, my program at Eastern had an awesome coach.
Cool.
And our program consisted of just trying to fit everybody's schedules into it. Like I said, if it's not a sport, then you can't bring athletes in for it specifically, right? They just have to sign up for it after they're there. You can't really, go out and recruit. So you then get a team of 20 to 30 girls, and it's like, all right, let's find a time that every single one of you can be available for 3 hours, three times a week, right? So you've all got your own schedules, whereas, example, lacrosse, they're being recruited in, so they build their schedule around lacrosse.
Right.
So it's difficult, but some of the really high-level teams that are in, more towards the south, especially like where football gets really big, their training is insane. I worked with a friend who teaches, she now coaches and teaches in, where is she? She is Ohio State, I believe.
Oh boy,
yeah.
That's big time.
It is insane, the amount of strength and conditioning that goes into those girls. They usually come in as either gymnasts or cheerleaders.
Yeah.
But, they're already the best of the best, and then they're upholding them to this standard where it's like you need to be at this many games and events per week. You're going to be, training or running choreography at least every day, if not twice a day.
Right.
So, the places where it is a full-time sport, it's like huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
awesome. Now, coming here to Peak, as you've learned already, Kira's been with us for almost a month now. But coming here, it's a different crowd in that a lot of people that end up on your caseload have been dealing with a little bit of an injury, or they maybe it was in their recent past within the last couple of years, but a lot of people like training here because they know that they have a little bit of that communication between the patient, the therapist, and the trainer all kind of working together when something gets a little flared up. And have you yourself dealt with any injuries or anything along those lines over the years, or?
So with injuries, I always talk about my mom because she has an ACL tear, and she's been dealing with it for probably 15 years now.
Oh wow.
She's always having, she'll have common flare-ups of it. And she's also got a lot of other comorbidities going on.
Did she end up having the surgery to repair it?
She did have surgery to repair it. I don't know that she adhered to PT the way that she should have. At the time, I think she was a little bit younger and a little bit lighter back then. More active during her regular day. So she was a bit more able to deal with the uncomfortable, sensation in it and kind of just push through.
Yeah.
And now that it's been 15 years, right, that pain is really debilitating for her. So she's always somebody that I use as an example. And through COVID, I actually went, I did UConn online and got a certification in exercise prescription.
Cool.
And she was my key patient throughout everything. You know what I mean? You really have to kind of relate it back to something in your personal life.
Definitely.
And her constantly managing having swelling in there. She has a lot of crepitus in there. Everything she does has to revolve around making it comfortable for her knee.
Yeah.
So she's definitely patient number one for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to not
You've avoided
get
for the
super
most
injured.
part. I know. It's interesting that you bring up the ACL too, because it's very common, and even just in the last 3 or 4 days, I've had a couple interactions with, I was reading an article about an Ironman triathlete yesterday, because Ironman Lake Placid took place yesterday. I was reading about someone who blew out their ACL on a ski mountain. But even a few days prior to that, I evaluated a nice person who chose not to have surgery for her ACL, and she's done quite well for several years since then, just in terms of creating stability within the joint, so really getting the hamstrings and quads firing, calf muscles, and and she's been fine doing all sorts of great stuff. It's just interesting, and the truth is you'll get plenty of people also who are not dealing with injuries, and they'll get to work with you as well. But it's just one of the added things here, that when you do work with a physical therapy team, that a lot of times you'll enter that team approach where we're dealing with, nutrition, sometimes the doctor, sometimes even their chiropractor or their acupuncturist or craniosacral therapist. So there's a lot of us trying to work all together to basically get to the same goal for that patient.
Yeah, no, I really love it. I love that it's like a full 360 approach. All opinions are welcome. All takes are welcome.
Yeah.
Who in this person's life can throw in, in my experience, we've got this person working with speed sticks for golf.
Exactly.
This is, I'd love to see if maybe you can put this into the training to help with those. So, yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So, tell me, we all people always love to ask me, what do you work on the most, or what's your favorite kind of patient? And I have my answers for those, but do you have any types of niche populations that you really enjoy working with, or you have some experience with working with certain teams or types of sports, or or with that, which direction are you hoping to go in the future, in terms of continuing education and certifications and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the process of learning how to weight train, and I'm back in high school, we're not doing a lot, right? But the things that I learned, getting into squatting form, benching form, even just stuff as simple as using machines in a gym can be really intimidating when it's brand new to you. And I was still pretty young, but it was kind of a memorable experience, and I still remember it really clearly, going into a facility for the first time and learning what it's like to be sore, what it's like to be told you're doing this wrong, what it's like to have somebody tweak your form constantly. And I think it can be a really frustrating time, and I've seen it with my mom, and I've seen it with friends of mine where they'll go in, with really great ideas and really good intentions, and it just ends up being a lot to take in, and you kind of get overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, the tendency is to kind of just drop it and pull back.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a lot of experience kind of showing people what it's like for the first time to get into something new. And I think I'm pretty good at creating like a safe, judgment-free space where it's, kind of lighthearted when you're learning, right? You're coming in here, this is going to be kind of frustrating at first, and I'm going to tell you about 1,000 things that are looking, you need to put your weight back here, do this, do that. But I've learned good cues that I can give people to make it easier to understand, and, little tricks to show them how to identify, what's going on without me being there. So I have a lot of friends who will tell me they want to get into some sort of weightlifting, or that they want to be at the gym, right? They want to improve their, fitness. So I'll take them through, kind of create that safe space to show them what to do. But I like to also give people tricks to then take with them when I'm not there to stay safe, right? So I'll show people how to squat in front of a mirror and kind of go through, these are the things that you want to look for. And if you see this, it's a sign that you've done something wrong. So example, put them next to a mirror, teach them about, tracking your knee, making sure it doesn't go over your toes. Seems so simple when you've done it 1,000 times, but it's crazy overwhelming when your legs are hurting, you've never done this before. You're thinking, wow, it's 5:30, I could really use dinner.
Yeah.
Why did I agree to meet Kira here?
Yeah.
This is awful.
Yeah.
Do I even really want to do this? Someone told me if I just stop eating, sugar in my coffee, I'll lose 10 pounds. Maybe I'll just go that route.
Right.
It's tough to then take in all those little tiny details, like push the knees back. You want to feel it here. But I think that's my favorite client.
Yeah.
Creating that space for them, tips and tricks to, move forward and build on their own.
Yeah, and I would say, in just the short time that you have been here, and I also can say part of the reason you are here is there's no question that you've got a good way of connecting with people. And I think it's evident in the relationships you've already created in just, a month. There's a lot of people that you've been meeting, whether it's through shadowing with Mia or just on your own. And through feedback that I've gotten from other people, it's been nice to see. But I think that's a huge part of what we do here at Peak, and in general, like the places that I've modeled my business off of, it's you're building lifelong relationships with people. So it's not, you're here to try to help somebody lose weight, but you're really not taking that approach in that person, even if that's what they say that's their goal. You're just building a relationship where they feel, and I love the way you say it, like a safe space where they feel comfortable. Because no one gets anywhere reaching goals. It's the same. You can't get rid of your pain if you don't trust the person who's helping guide you.
Yeah.
So I pride myself on having good hands as a physical therapist, but that's not, to me, always the most important thing. I need to be able to help guide them and understand what's going on in their body. But really, if you can't connect with the patient, I don't think you're as good as the next person down the street, because connection is where people have their ability to essentially let their guard down and be open to whatever you're trying to offer them, or whatever we're trying to offer them. And so until someone checks their ego or their fears at the door, we're not going to really help them. We won't be able to help them reach their goals very well.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
So I appreciate that style and that side of you, and you've got, she'll give you a great workout. There's no question about it. And the key is, keeping it a safe, fun, and connected workout. And we undoubtedly will be able to do that together.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a couple other fun, quick questions. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
I know, totally catching you off guard on this, but people
yeah.
like this.
Oh, people are gonna think I'm weird.
Well, that's all right.
I mean, I really like scary movies.
Oh, okay, cool. So
But
come October, this is her time to shine?
Oh yeah, October is definitely my time to shine. But I think the thing with movies is it's tough to just pick them outright. I'm easier at picking through genres.
Okay, so favorite comedy?
Favorite comedy, I would say Wedding Crashers.
Yes.
That's a great movie.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Any dramas that you like?
I don't know that there's been a drama that I like, but The Invisible Man was, I guess, like a suspense thriller thing that came out like a year ago. Really good.
Nice.
Really, really good. That one. And then if we're just talking like favorite, like to watch and enjoy, I think Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I would say that's a good summary of them. But yeah, if you were to hear my list of like top 10.
Have you read any good books?
It's a lot of scary movies.
Any good books lately?
Any good books lately? I'm not a book person. I'm a big podcast person.
Oh, okay. Who do you like to listen to?
I like Joe Rogan. Depending on who he's got on, I like that you can scroll, check out who's going to be in there, and kind of tune in. I like hearing him talk to people. And then I like a lot of Bachelorette podcasts, because that's my sport, my main sport.
That's my wife's love and passion too.
Is it really?
I did not know that you're a Bachelor girl.
Oh, huge.
She's gonna be happy.
Huge Bachelor person. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I have a little confession to you and our audience. I have a recent man crush on Hugh Jackman. So my family has gotten really into The Greatest Showman over the last 6 months or so.
That's a good movie.
And I don't know, I heard Hugh Jackman on some podcast recently. I was listening to him and watching the movie and all this. I'm like, God, this guy's pretty much perfect. And then I kind of mentioned this to my sister, and she's like, well, who doesn't have a man crush on Hugh Jackman? I was like, all right, that's cool. I feel a little bit better about myself. All right, morning person or night owl?
I'd say morning person.
All right, I can attest to that. She's shown up very early, more than once or twice, with bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So we're excited to have her around here.
Keep me up past. I'd say 11:30 becomes the witching hour. It's like,
tell me about it.
Unless you're feeding me coffee or something, you're gonna lose me.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, tea, energy drink. Sometimes I'll take one of those Monsters, even though I know they're packed with all kinds of stuff you shouldn't have. But if it's 11:30 and it's the witching hour, you gotta do what you gotta do to stay awake.
So, I know she once mentioned favorite day of the week is chest day when it comes to working out on her own. She's strong this one.
Big chest day person. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, least favorite day of the week is legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll work together. I like back, so I'll force her to work on her back. She'll get me back into bench press mode.
Nice.
And we'll both struggle through leg day at least once a week together.
Great.
Any questions for me or any questions for the audience? Maybe they'll chime in once they hear the podcast, and they can post some questions. If you guys ever have any burning thoughts on meeting our newest one here, Kira, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah. Are there any types of people that you'd like to get in the podcast? Like, is there any suggestions, like types of people that either, are following or that I can suggest for you? Like if someone's got a friend who's an athlete, a friend who's gone through an injury while playing a sport, anything like that, is there certain types of people you're looking to get on here?
Yeah, so, we're always looking for local practitioners for sure. So there's a couple women's health or pelvic floor specialists that I've got in the queue that are going to get in here soon. And then I'd love to get some outdoorsy types of people. So anyone who, some hardcore hikers or rock climbers, I think those would be a fun genre of people to, those types of athletes that we could get in here. We've had some awesome triathletes recently. We've had some fast runners in here. And then, I think there's still, we could certainly, if there's some strength and conditioning specialists that that might want to come in here and give us some ideas and thoughts, we're always open to that.
Yeah, definitely.
There is also, I think, potentially a chiropractor and acupuncturist that we were hoping to get in here soon. So I think those are the main areas that we're looking at right now.
Cool.
Also, it'd be fun, I think, to get some coaches in here. So
Definitely.
whether it's running coaches, tennis coaches, I've got some people in mind with that one. So we actually had Ryan Bean and his buddy Philip in here recently, so that was fun, down from Milford Indoor Tennis. So little shout out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway,
Cool.
I am looking forward to having you here, and I think it's going to be awesome. I think people from the community are also going to really benefit from having your smiley face and some fun workouts, and we'll take it from there.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks for
All
having
right,
me
cool.
on.
You guys stay tuned. You can find us on social media, so on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us, our podcast, obviously, we are now on Spotify, and we have a YouTube channel, so check us out, Peak PTW. And we've got all sorts of cool stuff on the YouTube channel if you want to watch this, or if you want to check out all sorts of fun, different and exciting exercises. We have all sorts of great stuff over there.
Yeah.
All right? We'll talk to you guys soon, and stay well, be safe, and have fun.